Now, as I said, Lapid's path to forming a coalition seems impossible without the aid of Naftali Bennett and his Yamina party. Joining us in studio, Jeremy Saltan, political advisor to the Yamina party and director of English operations. Jeremy, thanks for coming. I want you to clarify something for me. During the conflict with Gaza, it seemed as if Naftali Bennett ruled out joining with the so-called change bloc to form a government. And yet, in a Facebook post just the other day, he seemed to suggest, after criticizing Prime Minister Netanyahu very harshly for his conduct of the Gaza operation, saying we should forget about boycotts of parties, ruling out joining with other parties. What does that mean? Does that mean he's reversing his position? He might accept a partnership, a government that would have outside support, for example, the Ram party?
Well, you know, we've said consistently that the goal of our party is to prevent another election.
Okay.
And I was here during the day that that report came out within the press. Of course, it was nothing that Naftali said directly, that we're going ahead and putting to the side the possibility of a government with Mansour Abbas and the Ram party. And of course, that made a lot of sense if we're looking at what was going on in terms of the situation on the ground within a lot of the mixed cities.
Okay.
Now we're done with the Gaza conflict, and we're dealing back with the same problems that we had in the political arena. Look, Alev, we were about 3 days from being able to present a government before this Gaza fighting ended up coming upon us on Jerusalem Day. We could be in a possibility to go ahead and see a return to that. That being said, we do see movement on the Likud side that we did not see when they held the mandate. What Yamina is very determined to do is to be able to make sure that what Israel has is a functioning, stable government. And that's what we're going to do, whether that happens with the Likud party or whether that happens with the Yesh Atid party. You know, time will tell what happens there. But I'll remind you, Kalev, we never went out and specifically said that we are tabling any one of the possibilities in order to go ahead and form that government. What we did say at the time was that we were not going to go ahead and discuss the building of a coalition when Israel was under fire. Israel's no longer under fire.
Okay, that's not how everybody interpreted Naftali Bennett's comments, but I'll leave it at that. But I want to move on because I want to understand what you just said about movement on the Likud side, because according to reports, Prime Minister Netanyahu is even reduced, you might say, the offer that he made to Naftali Bennett, now even ruling out a rotation agreement that would allow him to become prime minister. So what movement are you talking? A movement in the other direction?
No, so, you know, I'm well aware of what's coming out in the press. What matters is what's happening within the negotiation rooms. And like I said, what Yamina is doing, and this is what the citizens of Israel need to realize, we're doing everything possible as far as we're concerned to make sure that Israel goes back to having a functioning government where we can actually pass state budgets and actually govern our nation as a normal functioning country should. And to do so, we said we're willing to go ahead and form a government with whoever it is able to do so. Look, Lapid has the mandate now. Netanyahu had the mandate before. We might be in a situation where we go into the possibility of the 61 signatures and a third mandate. Whatever happens,
that's up to President Rivlin. We have no.
That's not up to him. I can tell you right now what the law says is automatically, when the second mandate ends, you end up in 21 days where you can collect 61 signatures. You're right that the president does get 2 days to go over those signatures if they are submitted to him. But the idea of the third mandate is instead of the president choosing who gets the mandate, it's the Knesset who gets to choose a nomination in terms of who they think should form the government and send that person to the president to receive the mandate. But whatever happens, Yamina is going to do whatever we can to be able to form a government. It's up to both Netanyahu and to Lapid, and obviously they're two different people, but it's up to both of them to decide whether they do want to go ahead and form a government or if they want to go ahead and drag us to another election. My feeling is the Israeli public will not forgive whoever decides that they're going to choose personal reasons over the good of the nation, and I really hope that we're able to go ahead and form a government before the next time that I'm invited here to the studio.
We only have a couple of seconds. Is Naftali Bennett willing to join that government without being the prime minister?
We said we would do whatever is necessary and possible in order to form a government. We've not changed our position on that.
All right. Well, it's certainly going to be an interesting 9 days. And I'm going to just amend what you said. It's up to Yair Lapid and Benjamin Netanyahu. A lot of people might say even more than that, it's up to Naftali Bennett. But we shall see what decisions he makes in the coming days. Jeremy Saltan, thank you for joining us on The Run.